Folks, we're back. It's one of PKN's live stream of interviews being conducted at the AIP Australasian Packaging Conference 2025 and beyond. And it's been quite the day. We've already got 10 in the bag. Ball and Doggett have helped bring all this to you. We've got more that we'll probably do today and a lot more tomorrow, but ignoring that for the moment, Lindy, and just focusing on the now. How are you doing and who are we chatting with?
Well, I'm doing very well, thank you, Grant. It is getting towards the tired end of the day. But I am happy to be here with Lou Tsoukalas, and he is the National Manager for Flexible Packaging at Ball Doggett. Now, Lou, you guys, Ball Doggett is here as a silver sponsor of the AIP conference. You're clearly into sustainability. Tell me how this all fits in with your strategy in terms of your clients.
Certainly will, Lindsay. Thank you very much for having me. So it's very important, I guess, that we're part of the community, the packaging community, first of all. Our group continues to diversify into substrates outside of fine papers, if you like. So it's important we're heavily engaged within the flexible packaging sector. We have a range of different products that come to market around sustainability, as you mentioned, meaning around recycled content product, as we do with some of our rigid applications, fibre, flexible packaging substrates, as we'll discuss in a minute, I hope, and also in relation to film products, plastic film, in relation to the theme today that we've experienced, meaning monolayered materials that fit the criteria around the broader sustainability subject and the APCO requirements moving forward. So again, it's quite important that we're heavily engaged, and as we diversify, we bring to market products that meet sustainability, but also support industry, be it brands, end users, converters, with a range of products that fulfill that requirement.
And quite an exciting development, certainly in the flexible space, has been your distribution partnership that you've recently signed with SAPI, bringing in some sustainable, high barrier, flexible papers that can be used particularly for things like confectionery, as I understand it?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, absolutely. Again, so my journey in the industry spans 30 odd years. So it's quite interesting and fascinating for me to also personally view a fibre substrate that has such a high barrier, a property integrated that also performs extremely well. So we have partnered with SAPI. They have a great range of products that meet the food industry requirement that also comply to the APCO targets. So we're really enthused around this. We've gained a lot of interest from market across all tiers, meaning brands, end users, again, converters, all looking at, I guess, the broader market and what substrates are fit for purpose and meet the certain criteria around what is our own sustainability charter, what are we trying to achieve. And there's always going to be a blend around plastics and fibre, in my opinion. Today's speakers were very big on that. There's no one solution. Whilst plastics has got a slightly of a bad image at the moment, I think that'll change with education over time. But I think there's a unique fit within market around plastics and fibre. And again, we're heavily interested in engaging in market with a fibre SAPI range of products.
So when you bring in a new range of substrates like that, do you work with the printers as well, the converters? Because obviously all materials are not the same.
Yes.
And so if they were printing previously on a film product, a plastic film product, and now they have to print on paper, do you assist in the adjustments that need to be made to the machinery? Or
We do, absolutely. A great question. We certainly heavily collaborate at all levels of market, again, be it end user or brand or converter, for those reasons. And particularly when you're introducing a fibre-based product that's going into a market that for 30 plus years traditionally has ran plastic on equipment. There is the requirement for ongoing discussion and trialling and performance, not so much around printing. The fibre or paper-based products are well printed around gravure or offset printing. So I don't think printing's a major issue. It's really performance on packing equipment.
Yeah.
That's where the challenge becomes.
Yeah.
So again, that's key. We're engaging with equipment manufacturers, with converters to perform end user trials, if you like, to get the performance required.
Well, we saw earlier today, we heard from brand owners like Mars about and Nestle about their paper-based efforts. So I think that it will be no surprise if you see demand spiking for those particular barrier papers.
I hope you're right about that. We're forecasting that, so I'm very big on that.
I better be right.
And that's why we introduced the range of fibre barrier papers. Again, I think within brand owners, sustainability is an issue. Charters have been created. ESG is part of all that. So I guess packaging in general has been heavily discussed these days about what substrates can be used to meet those sustainability targets. And again, I'm talking about, I think plastics and fibre have got a joint
they do have a joint role to
position
play.
in the market.
Yes,
There's no doubt about that. But again, it'll come to certain applications where one will outweigh the other for whatever those targets are.
Fit for purpose as well.
Fit for purpose. I think there's probably it'll land on some emotional decision making as well.
Sure.
I think we can't hide away from that. There's performance, but there's also emotion coming into some of the decision making. But again, I think it's all about putting products in market that meet the requirements of the ultimate targets and goals. I think the broader target we all know is about sustainability, reducing food waste. I mean, I was very happy to hear today about the food waste component of it. It always seems to be the discussions of recent times to be about substrates or products. And we missed the discussion about, well, what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to achieve reduction of food waste. So I was pleased to hear about that from a couple of the speakers.
Finding that sweet spot.
And again, coming to these substrates and evaluating what's best fit for purpose.
Yeah. Well, Lou, thanks very much for joining us, and thanks for Ball Doggett's support of all of our efforts and of the AIP's efforts. I think it is a collaborative effort to educate everybody about what's so important in our industry.
Totally agree, and thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Lou. Very much appreciate the sponsorship that has been bringing all these live streamed interviews to the folks today and tomorrow. And thanks, Lindy. And of course, thanks to everyone who has tuned in for this interview that was conducted at the AIP Conference 2025 and beyond. We'll be back in the not too distant future with another informative discussion. So stay tuned to this channel.